You should control your time, resources, and health. It's your responsibility, not society's, to avoid things like heart attacks and take care of your family. Society doesn't force you to create a strong financial safety net, but you should do it for yourself. So, decide to be in control of your life, health, future, and duties. Don't worry about needing a lot of time to achieve your goals, a reasonable amount is sufficient. I learned that you don't need a lot of time, just reasonable time. Here's why: it's not about how many hours you work, but what you do with those hours. If you start putting better ideas into the time you have, you'll see amazing productivity later on. Ideas you can't think of now will come to you later, and when you use those ideas in your time, your productivity will soar. Now, let's talk about managing your time better. First, write down your goals. Then, prioritize them. What's important for this week? What about this month? And here's another tip: review your goals often. Make sure your list is still inspiring and motivating you. If someone asks why you're up so early, just say, if you were going where I'm going, you'd be up early too. If you were meeting the people I'm meeting, you'd be up early too. If things were going as well for you as they are for me, you'd be waking up early. Now, let's talk about more tips for managing your time. Learn to focus on what's important and what's not. When you answer the phone, ask yourself if it's a big deal or not. If it's not, just exchange a few pleasantries and end the call. If it's important, take some notes. Another tip: before you make an important call, make a little plan. It's easy to forget things when you're talking off the top of your head. Ever had a conversation end like this: wait, there was something else? It doesn't make you look good. Make a little plan before you call so you don't forget anything important. Now you understand, right? Before an important call, make a plan. It'll save you a lot of trouble later. For example, if you call John and the salesperson says, "John, remember those 4 things we talked about?" and John says, "No, we didn't discuss that," you can show him the list you made when you made the call. Then he'll remember. Salespeople, especially, can make you forget what you wanted to say. If you don't have a little reminder, it's easy to forget. So always make a plan before you call someone. Now, remember, focus on what's important and don't waste time on small things. If you spend too much time on little things, you'll always be behind. In sales training, we learn about what's important and what's not. Here's what's not important: thinking about potential customers, making lists of them, keeping track of them, visiting them, and evaluating them afterward. That's not where you should spend most of your time. What's important is when you're actually with the customer. That's where you should focus your time. If you look at your week as a salesperson, you might realize you're spending too much time on the unimportant stuff and not enough on being with customers. So, think about how many hours you're spending with customers each day and each week. That's what really matters in sales: being with the customer, not the other stuff. Here's another important tip for managing your time: don't think that just being busy means you're getting things done. Sometimes people come home exhausted, saying they've been busy all day. But busy doing what? It's not about just being busy, it's about making progress. Another thing we learned in sales is not to confuse politeness with agreement. Just because someone is nice and nods along doesn't mean they're going to buy. They might just be polite. So, don't assume politeness means they're going to say yes. Here's a really important thing I learned: focus. I remember trying to write a letter while I was in the shower, and it ended up being pretty strange. So, I figured out it's better to wait until I'm at work to do work stuff. Enjoy the shower while you're in it, enjoy the journey to work, and then focus on work when you're there. Another important lesson is learning to say no. Nowadays, it's easy to feel like you have to say yes to everything to be nice, but that just leads to being overwhelmed. It's okay to say no sometimes. Now, when you have to decline something, it's important to do it gracefully. Instead of hastily agreeing and then backing out later, you can say something like, "I don't think so, but if that changes, I'll let you know." It's a small phrase that helps you avoid overcommitting yourself. As my friend Ron Reynolds wisely puts it, don't let your mouth overload your back. Another big rule in time management is to keep work and play separate. When you're working, focus on work. When you're playing, enjoy yourself fully. Mixing the two can lead to distractions and lower productivity. And here's a really crucial one: don't goof off when you're supposed to be working. Work is important, and you don't want to be known as the office clown. It's not a good look. Sure, it's fine to share some pleasant stories and jokes, and it's great to have a happy office atmosphere. But it's important to remember that work is serious business. You're giving a part of your life to your job, so you need to take it seriously. This doesn't mean being grim or unhappy, just serious and focused. Remember, work isn't the place to fool around or play pranks. That might have been acceptable in the past, but not anymore. You need to treat work with respect and passion because it's shaping your future. Save the playfulness for places like the beach or the bar, not the workplace. Think about how you're doing, and if there are things you're not good at and can't change, find a solution. For example, I used to try to keep track of my finances, but I wasn't very good at it. So, I decided to hire an accountant even though it cost me some extra money each month. It was worth it because I was losing a lot of productivity trying to do it myself. Another tip is to be cautious with communication tools like the phone, especially at home. Let them help you, but don't let them take over your life. When it's time to spend time with your family, turn off any systems that might interrupt, except for those that can quietly take messages. When it's time for dinner with your family, don't let anything disturb you. That means no phone calls, no unexpected guests at the front or back door, and no interruptions from any other devices. If you establish this boundary, even the President of the United States wouldn't be able to reach you during dinner time. It's important to have this sacred time with your family where nothing intrudes. So, don't let these gadgets keep disrupting your time together. Create a special place where interruptions are not allowed, and cherish that time with your loved ones.